Hey, GratuiTous here from itsgratuitous.com. In this video, I want to talk about my M-Audio Oxygen Pro template and how I've set up the Pro Q3 by FabFilter for this hands-on mixing and drum pad workflow experience. So let me break down how this works, okay? So to create a band with Pro Q3 and FL Studio with this Oxygen Pro FL Studio template by GratuiTous, you're just going to use this right knob, all right? And as you can see, it created a band for us. I'm just going to select that just so that we can visually, just so you can visually see what's going on with it, okay? So again, I created the band, and then now the next one allows us to adjust the band type. And so you can see that we can go like different shapes, and you can see all the shapes right here. So it just rotates through them, okay? That's what this knob does. The next one does the steepness, okay? You can adjust steepness. The next one does the, if you wanna do like left, right, mid, side, all that stuff, all these options, that's what this knob right here does, okay? So here's side, here's mid, stereo, left, or right, left, okay? So I'll keep it at stereo. Let me just work from the left to the right now. So the left is how you simply just go left and right. You can go up and down. You can adjust the tightness of the Q. And again, you can do this with both hands. Also, I have set this up where you can do the dynamic EQ as well. So if I just hit play here, right? So you can actually get this experience. Again, because I have the save state and the flip state, let's say we want to save it because we like it here, but maybe we want to kind of fine tune a little bit. Maybe we want to like a little tighter, a little bit bigger, whatever. You know, now you can flip the state. And this is how fast this workflow is between A and B. Now, yes, these plugins do have an A and B up here, but what happens is you have to go to your mouse. And when you're getting this hands-on mixing, you just saw how fast that was to be able to reference two different instances of this plugin. Let me show quickly to create another band. So you have to go to a new bank, okay? So the Oxygen Pro gives us 4 banks, and every time we go to a new bank, it's a new set of knobs, okay? But again, it's a little bit tricky with the Oxygen Pro because the knobs are what we call absolute. So there's a fixed end and there's a fixed beginning, which means that there's what's called soft takeover when we go in between the banks. In other words, the knob has to reach a certain value before it kicks in, and it makes the hands-on experience not as good. So, you know, if M-Audio is watching this video, the Oxygen Pro by itself is amazing. If you would come up with a Generation 2, and we have endless encoders where as soon as we switch the bank, we can instantly pick up where where that actual parameter is, then you can get an amazing hands-on experience with this mixing here. But right now, as it is, you still get a pretty good experience. It's just, you just have to understand that there's what's called soft takeover. All right, so I'm gonna go to the next bank and it's the same thing. So on the far right, you can see I created a band. Here it is over here. You're gonna use the left knob, or this knob here to go left and right. You can go up and down. So let's just bring it up. I'm going to maybe tighten it or whatever. You can adjust its steepness right here, okay, if you want to do that stuff, or if you want to change the style. Okay, let's say we go for like a notch. Again, you can adjust how aggressive you want it to be. You can do all your different stuff like I shared before. You can put it to like left, right, all that kind of stuff, all right? And again, you can do that for 4 different banks. So I'll create another band. Here, we go left, we go right. You get that hands-on mixing. So let me just hit play again. And again, let's say we're like, do you know what? I really screwed up my EQ here. I was way too aggressive. Again, you have to go back to the first bank, and then you can flip between your states. So this is what I was doing in the very beginning with you. And then this is flipping the state. I do have a couple things set up on the sliders here, and we'll just go through those ourselves, okay? So the right here allows us to turn things up and down on a global level. So let me just do it like this, sorry. Okay, so you can see that this one does volume, and then this next one is our on-off. And I've set that up for all plugins in my supported list, okay? So this one's always volume, and then for the most part, this one is always off-on for the plugins that support it, okay? The next one is the auto gain. And so what auto gain is when we have a band and we're turning things up and down, it will automatically compensate for the other frequencies to try to keep a fair volume comparison for our ears so that we can start adjusting. And so that's what the auto gain does. I don't have it on all the time, but it is useful just to kind of, play around with so that the volume is consistent. But let's say I had, an instrument that's causing a problem, many times I might just turn off the auto gain and I just fix that particular problem. But if I'm just a blank slate where I'm just starting EQ fresh, maybe having the auto gain on is cool because it's automatically compensating and giving me kind of a fair volume comparison. But anyways, so you can choose that with this slider right here, off and on. The next slider, that one is the scale. So if you want to make it nice and big, that's what I do there. And that's all I have set up for you, okay? So I have the master volume. I have off and on, which is really, really important, okay? So these two alone, these first two sliders are super important because as you're EQing, if you're boosting really, really loud, or if you're cutting really aggressively, you want to be able to turn things up and down in volume. As you can see, it's just going up and down right there. And then you also want to be able to turn off and on the EQ to be able to actually hear if your EQ is making a difference, like, if it's actually benefiting. So remember, we want to make sure it's a fair volume comparison and you turn off and on your plugin to see, is it actually improving what you're doing? And that all comes with this Oxygen Pro FL Studio template for the Pro Q3. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at hi@itsgratuitous.com. And again, this is my M Audio Oxygen Pro FL Studio template.